Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to Evagen's second quarter 2021 results conference call. All participants are present in listen-only mode. Following management's formal presentation, instructions will be given for the question and answer session. For operator assistance during the conference, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded August 11th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. The conference will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to Evagen's second quarter 2021 results conference call. All participants are present in listen-only mode. Following management's formal presentation, instructions will be given for the question and answer session. For operator assistance during the conference, please press star 0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded August 11th, 2021. Before we begin, I would like to caution that certain statements made during this earnings conference call by Evagen's management will constitute forward-looking statements that relate to future events, risks, and uncertainties regarding business strategy, operations, and future performance and results of Evagen. I encourage you to review Evagen's filings with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and read the note regarding forward-looking statements in today's earnings release, which states that statements made in the earnings release and, in a similar way, on this earnings conference call that are not historical facts may be deemed forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. For example, Evagen is using forward-looking statements in this call when it discusses its expected paths to value creation and its belief that turning one or more of its subsidiaries into public companies will be beneficial to its shareholders. Evagen's and its subsidiaries' expected trials, studies, product advancements, commercializations, launches, pipelines, milestones, potential collaborations, cash usage, and other plans for 2021 and 2022, the potential advantages of its technology and its anticipated entry into new fields of activity. All forward-looking statements made herein speak only as of the date of the announcement of results. Many of the factors that impact whether forward-looking statements will come true are beyond the control of Evagen and may cause actual results to differ materially from anticipated results. Evagen is under no obligation to update publicly or alter our forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information, future events, or otherwise, except as otherwise required by law. We expressly disclaim any obligation to do so. More detailed information about the risk factors potentially adversely impacting our performance can be found in our reports filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. That said, I would now like to turn the call over to Ofer Haviv, Evagen's CEO. Ofer, please go ahead.
Thank you and good day, everyone. We appreciate your joining us today for our second quarter 2021 conference call. Joining me today are Ms. Sarit Firon, Evagen's new chairperson, and Ms. Dorit Reiner, our CFO. Sarit will start the conference call with a short introduction and provide her vision of the Evagen Group. I will then discuss our plan for unlocking the value of our subsidiaries and provide an overview of our recent achievements. Dorit will summarize Evagen's financial results for the second quarter and first half of 2021. We will then open the call for your questions. Before I hand over to Sarit, our new chairperson, I would like to address Martin Gristel, our former chairman. As you know, in June this year, after 2 decades of chairing Evagen since our founding, Martin felt he should take a well-deserved retirement from Evagen. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Martin wholeheartedly for his constant leadership and vision as our chairperson, and his ongoing invaluable contribution to Evogene's development. And on a personal note, I would also like to thank him for his guidance and support of me in the role of a CEO. I would like to welcome Sarit as Evogene's new chairperson. Sarit has been a highly effective member of our board since 2016 and knows Evogene and its subsidiaries very well, which will ensure a smooth transition into her new role as chairperson of the board. Sarit brings to Evogene more than 27 years of global investment and operational experience across Silicon Valley, New York, and Tel Aviv. She is one of Israel's most accomplished investors and is well known for helping to build companies from their early stage to successful IPOs and acquisitions. Sarit currently serves as the managing partner of the Team 8 Group and managing partner of the Team 8 Capital, the investment arm of the group. She has held numerous operational and leadership roles, serving as chairperson and board member, CEO and CFO at prominent high-tech companies. I cannot think of anyone better suited to assume the role of a chairperson at the present time, and I'm truly excited that she has agreed to this role. On behalf of all the management, employees, and investors in Evogene, I would like to wish her much success. Sarit, please.
Thank you, Ofer, for your warm introduction. I'm honored to have the opportunity to lead Evogene as its new chairperson. Evogene is an extraordinary company with highly differentiated predictive discovery and development capabilities and an impressive product pipeline through its subsidiaries. I look forward to working with my fellow directors, Ofer, and the entire senior management team. Together, we will take Evogene and its subsidiaries to the next level in value creation and subsequently gain recognition by the capital market. I would like to join Ofer in thanking Martin for his significant contribution made to Evogene since its inception. Martin should be extremely proud of Evogene's journey from its establishment to where we are today, as one of the key leaders that built the foundation for a promising future ahead. Our vision is to change the way life science companies are developing their products to substantially increase the probability of success, and at the same time, reducing the time and cost of life science product development. To execute this vision, our strategy is to focus on utilizing the most advanced computational biology we developed. Over the last 2 decades, Evogene has developed a unique computational predictive biology platform at an investment of tens of millions of dollars, incorporating deep scientific understanding together with big data and artificial intelligence. We then established subsidiaries who have developed strong product pipelines very rapidly by utilizing this advanced technology. And now our subsidiaries are reaching a level of maturity where their underlying value is becoming apparent. As Ofer stated in his introduction, throughout my career, I've taken companies to the next level by realizing their value potential through IPOs, acquisitions, or other financial transactions. I'm excited to bring this experience to Evogene and its subsidiaries to help in unlocking the inherent value in each individual subsidiary. We will ensure that each subsidiary is focused on its key strengths that will enable it to realize its unique value. Ofer will elaborate on our strategy later in the call. So now, I would like to hand it over to Ofer, and I look forward to continuing updating you about our progress and achievements in the future. Ofer, back to you.
Thank you, Sarit. My remarks in today's call will focus on our strategy for unlocking the value created within the Evogene subsidiaries for the benefit of Evogene's shareholders. In addition, I will describe the major achievements of our subsidiaries over the past 6 months and an outlook for their continued operations this year. To set a common ground for our discussion, I would like to recap the main topics I covered in our previous quarter's calls. First, our broadly applicable computational predictive biology platform, the CPB, and the three tech engines relying on this platform, Microboost AI, Campus AI, and Generator AI. As stated many times, we believe these technology engines provide a significant competitive advantage in the discovery and development of life science-based products in multiple industries. Second, our proven ability to create subsidiaries in multiple life science-based fields by utilizing the CPB platform and the three tech engines, with each subsidiary demonstrating its ability to rapidly discover and develop very promising product pipelines. Lastly, I stated our intention to continue to initiate new activities in additional life science-based fields. Moving now to what I would like to focus on today, that is, how do we intend to provide financial benefit to the Evogene shareholders in the near term for our subsidiaries. Our starting point is that each of our subsidiaries contains substantial internal value that is created through its rapidly developing pipeline and through the use of Evogene's unique technology. I would like to elaborate. As you know, investing in innovative life science-based companies, such as those within the Evogene Group, presents both financial advantage and risk for investors. The primary advantage is that, in general, if successful, innovative life science-based products can be very profitable. In addition, and very importantly for investors, innovative companies with promising life science-based products in their pipelines, as Evogene's subsidiaries, can have significant market value long before their products are actually commercialized. On the other hand, the primary risk in investing in innovative life science-based companies is that such products typically have very high failure rates. Furthermore, those that are successful generally take a relatively long time to be commercialized. We believe that Evogene's unique technology that is available to each of our subsidiaries for their fields of focus provides a substantial advantage with respect to dealing with those challenges of high failure rate and time to market, as demonstrated in our subsidiaries' discovery and early development pipelines. So, if our subsidiaries enjoy the benefit of their rapidly developing pipeline and their utilization of Evogene's technology is expected to reduce time to market and increase probability of success, why isn't our subsidiaries' potential fully reflected in Evogene's market value? We think that Evogene Group's current structure of a public company with variety of privately held subsidiaries operating in different fields of activity create difficulty for the capital markets to properly value each subsidiary. Therefore, we believe that if our individual subsidiaries were valued separately, it would result in a far greater combined market value for the Evogene Group. Based on these assumptions, our general strategy for unlocking the value of our subsidiaries for the benefit of Evogene's shareholders is to facilitate an independent valuation of each of our subsidiaries, regardless of Evogene or the other subsidiaries, and we are currently exploring ways to achieve this target. We believe that one way to achieve this in a manner that will be beneficial to our shareholder is to turn one or more of our subsidiaries into a public company that will trade independently of Evogene. In this regard, among the paths that we are exploring is the distribution of a portion of Evogene's holding in one or more of those subsidiaries to our shareholders. Of course, the decision if, when, and how to spin off a subsidiary company will depend on many considerations, including market conditions, the subsidiary financial needs, pipeline maturity, valuation, applicable regulations, etc. However, as stated, our current intent is to facilitate an independent valuation of each of our subsidiaries in the near term, and to do so in a manner that provides financial benefits to the Evogene shareholders. We look forward to providing additional information regarding the implementation of this very exciting strategy. I would now like to move on to an overview of our recent achievements. I am pleased to report that both Evogene and our subsidiaries have been progressing, and I would like to highlight the following activities and advancements, all made in the first half of 2021, and what can be expected for the second half of 2021. We will start with Biomica, focusing on the development of drugs based on the human microbiome, utilizing Evogene's MicroBoost AI tech engine. In the first half of 2021, Biomica has continued to advance preparations for the initiations of its first in-man proof of concept study in the immuno-oncology program, and continued with its preclinical programs for gut disorders. Two important announcements have been released by Biomica during the first half of the year. In Q1, Biomica released impressive preclinical data for its rationally designed microbiome therapeutics candidate BMC128 in immuno-oncology. BMC128, in combination with immuno-checkpoint inhibitors, ICI, in breast cancer mouse model, demonstrated pronounced anti-tumor activity as manifested in an increase of almost 50% in objective response rate in comparison to ICI alone. In Q2, Biomica reported that BMC128 has significantly increased anti-tumor activity in combination with ICI, but this time in melanoma. These positive preclinical results could indicate the potential of BMC128 to become best in class in the treatment of various types of solid cancer tumors, and support the validation of Biomica computational-based drug design approach. As for the second half of 2021, Biomica expects to initiate its first in-human proof of concept clinical trial in Israel later this year in its immuno-oncology program. As preparations for this milestone, Biomica initiated the scale-up processes and moved to GMP production of its drug candidate, as well as submitted the relevant documents for the regulatory approval. We also expect to receive preclinical results for the IBD program. Let's move to the second company in the field of human health, Canonic. Canonic's vision is to become a world leader in developing and commercializing effective, precise, and stable medical cannabis products based on novel cannabis varieties. To achieve this vision, Canonic utilizes Evogene's Generator AI tech engine. With eyes on the global market, the company is making its first steps in the Israeli market with impressive progress, indicating big potential. In the first half of this year, Canonic invests significant resources to establish its production and marketing infrastructure in preparation for product launch in Israel in 2022 as planned. Two important announcements have been released by Canonic during the first half of the year. The first was signing production and distribution agreements in anticipation for commercialization of its first product in the Meta-Yield program in 2022. The second was announcing an agreement for joint development of novel medical cannabis products with Cannabis Tikkun Olam. This is part of Canonic's Precise Product Program. During the second half of 2021, Canonic will continue with preparations towards selection and commercialization of its first generation Meta-Yield premium products and will focus its research and development efforts on next generation Meta-Yield varieties. In addition, Canonic expects to achieve its milestone for the Precise Products Program and identify lines that exhibit distinct effects in model systems for reducing pain or inflammation. Now, I will move to AgPlenus, our subsidiary in the ag industry segment. AgPlenus' mission is to develop and commercialize novel and safe crop protection products to control pests and produce higher yields, supporting the growing demand for high-quality food. To achieve this vision, AgPlenus utilizes Evogene's Campus AI tech engine. During the first half of 2021, AgPlenus focused on two important activities: making considerable progress in its collaborations with Corteva to develop novel herbicides, and continuing to develop and test additional compounds in its internal herbicide program. AgPlenus recently announced it achieved positive results in a proof of concept experiment developing resistance trait for herbicide candidate targeting APTH1, AgPlenus target herbicide 1, its leading novel mode of action for herbicide in its internal program. This POC demonstrates the ability to generate resistance traits in target crops to herbicides targeting the new mode of action APTH1. This is a significant milestone as a resistant trait enables farmers to kill weeds without damaging the commercial crop. In the second half of 2021, AgPlenus will focus on three main targets: advancing its strategic collaboration with Corteva, expanding its product pipeline with the aim of reaching the lead phase for an additional candidate targeting APTH1, and lastly, advancing commercialization efforts for APTH1. Our second subsidiary in the ag industry is Lavie Bio. Lavie Bio mission is to improve food quality, sustainability, and agriculture productivity through microbiome-based ag biological technology and products. To achieve this mission, Lavie Bio utilized Evogene's MicroBoost AI tech engine. The main focus of the company in the first half of 2021 has been on advancing its product pipeline. In the core of its activity is Lab 211, biostimulant for spring wheat as the first target crop, and Lab 311-312, biofungicide for grapes as its first target crop. Our lead biostimulant, Lab 211, is expected to be launched in 2022. Commercial trials are continuing, and there has been further advancement of the formulation and product readiness. As part of the company's preparation for commercialization, its commercial team expanded with the appointment of a VP Commercial, building the path to market in North America, the initial target market for our biostimulants. For the next 6 months, Lavie Bio will continue to prepare for the expected lead biostimulant Lab 211 commercial launch in 2022, which we anticipate will include an agreement with a potential distribution partner. In relation to our lead biofungicide, Lab 311-312, we are advancing an additional season of multi-location field trial in Europe and the US, which are focused on advanced validations of an optimized and improved generation of formulation. In addition, trials for expanding the use of the biofungicide into additional potential and lucrative crops are being conducted. With respect to Lab 311-312, our lead biofungicide, we expect to finalize the formulation protocol and initiate data generation for regulation filing in 2022. Last but not least is our seed trade division. It aims to develop high-quality food based on improved seed with high commercial value, leveraging computational genomics and biology. To achieve its target, the division utilized generator AI tech engine. In the first half of 2021, the focus of the seed trade division was on developing a technology for seed improvement using genome editing technologies, enabling deletion or modification of specific genomic regions in the crop's genome without inserting foreign DNA to the plant. During this period, the seed trade division completed the establishment of the first version of the computational and biological genome editing platform for the utilization of CRISPR technology in different crops, currently focusing on soybean and tomato. In the frame of the division's genome editing activity, Evogene participates in the CRISPR-IL consortium with Dr. Eyal Emanuel, Evogene's VP New Directions, serving as the president of the consortium. We were very pleased to announce at the beginning of the 2021 the completion by the consortium of a first version of the artificial intelligence-driven platform for genome editing. During the second half of the year, the seed trade division aimed to leverage the CRISPR technology for the development of disease-tolerant and high-quality traits in soybean and tomato lines. Another important project the division is involved in targets improving the carbon assimilation by plants, reducing carbon pollution, which aims to slow the damage of the global warming. In this project, which is funded by the European Horizon 2020 program, our seed division collaborates with world-leading academic institutions such as Max Planck Institute, the Weizmann Institute, and the Imperial College London. With that, I would now like to turn the call over to Dorit Kreiner, our CFO. Dorit.
Thank you, Ofer. I will begin by reviewing our cash balance. Evogene continues to maintain a strong financial position for its activities, with approximately $65.4 million in consolidated cash, cash-related accounts, bank deposits, and marketable securities as of June 30, 2021. Approximately $10.6 million of Evogene's consolidated cash is appropriate to its subsidiary Lavie Bio. During the first half of 2021, the consolidated cash usage was approximately $11.3 million or $8.9 million if excluding Lavie Bio. These sums exclude $28 million net raised through our ATM offerings and exclude $0.5 million proceeds from exercise of options. During the second quarter, the consolidated cash usage was approximately $5.7 million or $4.5 million if excluding Lavie Bio. These sums exclude $0.8 million net raised through our current ATM as detailed below. During the first half of 2021, and in particular during the second quarter, the burn rate was higher than the same period in 2020 for the following reasons. First, during the second quarter of 2020, the burn rate was unusually low due to certain measures the company took to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the company, including a temporary reduction in salary-based expenditure and a cutback in secondary activities. Second, during the second quarter of 2021, Evogene subsidiary increased their investment substantially in advancing their product development pipelines, including Biomica's continued preparations for initiation of first-in-human proof-of-concept study in the immuno-oncology program later this year. Lavie Bio's activities towards expected commercialization launch of its lead biostimulants in 2022. And Canonic's establishment of its production and marketing infrastructure in preparation for expected product launch in Israel in 2022. We continue to estimate that our cash usage for the full year of 2021 will be within the anticipated range of 20 to 22 million. These guidelines exclude cash usage of our subsidiary Lavie Bio. Under our current ATM, which we announced in March 2021, we raised 0.8 million net with a weighted average price of approximately $4.7 per ordinary share. The company does not have bank debt. Let's now turn to the statement of operations. Revenues for the second quarter of 2021 were 0.1 million in comparison to 0.3 million in the same period the previous year. R&D expenses for the second quarter of 2021, which are reported net of grants received, were 5.0 million in comparison to 3.9 million in the second quarter of 2020. The increase in R&D expenses in this quarter was mainly attributed to product development activities of the company and its subsidiary, as mentioned above. Business development expenses were approximately 0.7 million for the second quarter of 2021 in comparison to 0.5 million in the second quarter of 2020. The increase is attributed mainly due to Canonic's and Lavie's preparation towards expected launch of their first products in 2022. General and administrative expenses for the second quarter of 2021 were 1.8 million in comparison to 1.1 million in the second quarter of 2020. The increase is attributed due to the increase of the cost of directors and officer insurance. Operating loss for the second quarter of 2021 was 7.4 million in comparison to 5.2 million in the second quarter of 2020. The loss for the second quarter of 2021 was 6.9 million in comparison to loss of 4.8 million during the second quarter of 2020. With that said, we would now like to open up the call for any question you may have. Operator?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will begin the question and answer session. Ofer Haviv and Dorit Kreiner will be available to take your questions. If you have a question, please press star 1. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star 2. If you are using speaker equipment, kindly lift the handset before pressing the numbers. Your questions will be polled in the order they are received. Please stand by while we poll for your questions. The first question is from Kristen Kluska of Cantor Fitzgerald. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning and good afternoon. Thank you for taking my questions. So I'll start with one big picture question here. As you're nearing a potential commercialization for your first 2 programs next year, MetaYield and Lav 211, could you remind us how you view the initial market opportunities? And I would imagine that most of the customer you or a partner would be looking to get in front of would be perhaps looking to make a switch from another product they're currently used. So what do you view as the main selling points or advantages to get there?
Hi, this is Ofer. Thank you for your question. We didn't disclose specific numbers or guidelines with respect to potential revenue of the first product, but what I can share is that with respect to Lavie Bio first product, we are talking now with a few local distributors that are going to will be responsible on the sales of our product in the target location. At least for the first year, we are not expecting to something significant. The expectation is that from the second year, then the numbers will be more material. And what is really nice is that the distributor we are working with them is the one that we are also using them to conduct a field trial experiment. So they are the one that really see the performance in their field. They are the one that collect the data. So in a way, they are our best ambassadors to the quality of our product. It's not that we supply them the data; they actually generate together with us the data. And what is really nice, and this is something that we disclose already, is that the performance of our product compared to existing commercial available products, it's better. So I think that our strength with the yield improvement compared to the competitor, this will be the key message that we are going to use in order to promote our product. With respect to Canonic, over here we are expecting to reach to the market using a local distributor that we already signed with them on agreement. And we are expecting to reach to the customers next year through local pharmacy at the internet, and we are organizing a marketing campaign to drive the sales of our product for next year. What we are planning to do is that our statement why to buy the Canonic product and not our competitor product is the quality, and the quality will be based on the cannabinoid profile and how the crop looks in the perspective of the consumer, the patient. What we learn is that the way that the flowers looks, it's very important for the consumers, and our variety are showing a very high rate in these parameters. During the growing season and the selection, we brought to our farm potential customers, people that they are buying medical cannabis product. We show them our variety, and we use their recommendation as part from the breeding process, as part from the selection process, and we feel that we have the type of product that will fall into the premium category, and this will be our main statement why our products are more suitable to the needs of the potential customers.
Thank you. And then in terms of your announcement this morning regarding the strategy of potentially exploring the idea of turning one or more subsidiaries into public companies, could you talk about the timing as to why you believe now this is something that you're looking to consider? And generally speaking, since your subsidiaries range from early preclinical stage to near commercialization, is there a certain point you're looking to make these changes?
I think that at least few of our companies are really advancing nicely to commercialization, and they are really this is a Canonic and Lavie Bio, and Biomica is advancing very nicely toward the clinical trial. They are all active in a very hot spaces where investors are looking for investment opportunity. I don't think that we are planning to take all of them to the public market, but probably we will evaluate one by one and when the market condition and the development on these companies will reach to the stage that we think this will be the right time. So this is what we are planning to do. But I think that we are getting close to this stage. I believe that this will be for the benefit of Evogene shareholder. We can, instead of investing the money that Evogene invests as part from its promoting our subsidiary, we can do it as part from a public offering, or we can do it also as part in a private round together with additional financial investors. I think the main target that we would like to do is to give to each subsidiary. What we'd like to do is to give to the capital market the opportunity to evaluate each activity separately, because we believe that when you will accumulate all the value of each subsidiary, you will get a much higher valuation than the current valuation of Evogene. So we will start with one. We'll see, and hopefully we'll see the positive effect on Evogene share, and then we can start to move with the other companies. So this is the main purpose for this strategy, and of course we need to make sure that we are doing it for the benefit of our shareholders. And this is why we also consider that in some cases maybe to distribute to our shareholders portion from our holding in this subsidiary, so they can benefit also from the growing value of our subsidiary. As I stated, it's the main reason is to allow the capital market to evaluate at least part from the Evogene group activity in an easier way, since it will be isolated from the other activity.
Thank you. And then last question from me. I think each of these subsidiaries has a pipeline beyond the main programs that you've discussed, particularly as validation has been achieved. They've looked at other avenues this CPB platform could be utilized. So through this strategy, how do you think about each potential subsidiary exploring value beyond the initial focus and pipeline, if they should have added resources on hand? And then how do some of the other spaces that you're considering, like aquaculture and drug optimization, fit into this strategy as well? Thanks again.
Okay, so first, and this is somehow related to the reason that we want to spin out our subsidiary. We have currently 4 subsidiaries, and each one of them have a very, very promising product pipeline. And the product pipeline of our subsidiary contain more than what we are disclosed in our press release and through the analyst call, just because we can't cover everything. And I think this is really part from the reason why the market cannot really evaluate each subsidiary by itself. So yes, in addition to the product, in addition to the lead product of each subsidiary that I'm emphasized in my speech, there is more candidates which are advancing very nicely, and I would like to recommend each one of the audience to visit our subsidiary website and really look into the pipeline, because there is many other promising stuff than what I'm sharing with you, mainly due to time constraint. With respect to additional activity, the license that we are giving to our subsidiary to use the Evogene technology is limited to a very specific scope, and this is, the area that they are focusing on. They cannot use the Evogene technology outside of their scope. So if Evogene, if they want to expand their focus to additional area, so they need to ask from Evogene to extend their license. So this is with respect to the subsidiary. But with respect to Evogene, one of the reasons that we want to spin out those subsidiaries, because then it will give us, will allow us to focus on new opportunity, and that some of them we already start to explore. You mentioned a microbiome for the aqua agriculture. This is one of the areas that we are validate. Another area is using our technology to optimize drug candidates, which are based on small molecules. And another area that we validate is maybe using the generator technology for developing alternative protein from veggie protein to replace mammalian protein. So I think that this is all of this area. If you really want to start to explore and to start to expand into, I think it will be a little bit easier if one or more from our subsidiary will be completely independent from Evogene with their own financial resources, when we are just supporting them through our technology and being a shareholder. And this will allow us to expand our technology, and we can do it then through a separate subsidiary or through collaboration, or we can always decide it will be part from Evogene. But probably I believe that it will be through a subsidiary, new subsidiaries, or through collaborations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is from Ben Cleve of Lake Street. Please go ahead.
All right, thanks for taking my questions. I got a couple, but first a clarifying question on the launch of Lab 211. Is your expectation that that launch is going to be with the crop, the spring crop that gets planted in, 7-8 months, or is the expectation that the revenue event is going to be kind of late 22 for the spring wheat crop in the spring of 2023?
So we expect to be able to use it in the next season, meaning that we can recognize the revenue during 2022.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So then a couple of follow-up questions, and given that. I wasn't aware that the distributor that you had a distributor working with you on the field trials that you're working with now ahead of commercialization. That's great to hear. Can you characterize the kind of how field trials have expanded over the past couple of years? I know you have 20 events noted in a field trial in your presentation. This year, do you have 20 more field trials ongoing with the same distributor? Just any context around how that, how those trials have evolved would be great.
So I don't have in front of me the numbers of the field trial, but I can share with you the following. The numbers of field trials that we conduct this year, I think it's almost, again, I hope that I'm not mistaken, but I think it's double the size of previous year. So it's really in a very broad acreage. And this was actually very, very important, because this year it wasn't a very easy, it still is not an easy year to measure yield improvement because of the drought that really is very severe and not helps people that are trying to evaluate the performance of our biological. But because we conduct this experiment in so many places, so I think that we have enough statistics to allow us to make the final decision should we start to launch the product next year. And I think that we are in a good shape with this aspect.
Got it. And that actually leads into my next question here around the drought. With how pervasive the drought conditions are, especially in wheat acreage, how's your distributor thinking about launching new products next year? How are they thinking about potentially the market is just a mess right now in spring wheat, and so I'm curious how they're thinking about going to product next year versus past years when it's been a bit more predictable.
I think that this is a little bit too detailed question that I will prefer that maybe the CEO of Lavie Bio will address. But I think that the fact that we have results based on the last 3 years, coming from the last 3 years, and in all of these years, the performance of our product was better than our competitor. And I really hope that this year we'll succeed to generate enough statistical data to demonstrate the performance of our product. I think this will be enough information for our distributor to start the marketing of the product in the local region. Agriculture is sometimes, I think that it's almost like a gamble because of the weather condition. And every year you need to start and hope that this year things will be according to plan. And farmers are really doing their best. So next year it will be a new game. Hopefully, the condition will be better for farmers, and I think will make our distributor life easier. Maybe the last thing I would like to add, we choose the specific microbes we are using mainly because we felt that they can address improve yield during rough conditions. Actually, if the weather is optimal, the effect of the microbes exists, but it won't be as good as when there is some drought or maybe the weather is not optimal. So if there is concern that maybe next year there might be still some drought, again, if there is no rain, so nothing can grow. But if it will be, something in between, the efficacy of our product, it's actually one of the reasons to use it in order to address this challenging weather condition.
Gotcha. That makes sense. One more from me, and then I'll get back in queue. Over at the end of your comments, you talked about the opportunities in developing seed technologies. I think you specifically mentioned tomato and soy, but I'm sure you're working on other things as well. I'm curious if you could kind of classify how you think about going to market with that down the road. I mean, are you looking to develop unique traits and license those traits to the big ag players? Are you looking to potentially get into into the sale of seed? How do you really see commercializing that opportunity down the road?
It's a very good question. This is something that we are also evaluating, and this may be one of the reasons why our seed activity is still under a division structure and not in a separate subsidiary. I intend to believe, and this will be my recommendation, that we should find the field where we are focusing on the end product, while our competitive advantage is in the technology level of the genomics. And I'll give you an example where we already implement this approach. This is, our subsidiary Canonic, which the end product is medical cannabis. But the reason that we are operating this field is because our strength, the technology strength, in the cannabis genomics. So, in this case, we can even target all of our activity to reach the end product, which is the medical cannabis itself, and not just to support cannabis growers or a company that are focusing on that they are selling the end product. So, if developing the technology that we are talking about, the most advanced genome editing technology that you can think of, yes, we can then use it for the big seed companies and enter to some licensing agreement. My preference will be, let's find the type of product, and as an example, it could be alternative protein, and the company that we will establish will focus on bringing to the market the end product, and with our computational and our competitive advantage of this company will be the technology in the level of the crop genomics. You can think about different type of tomato. You can think about maybe bananas with high protein content, or a tomato with a high vitamin. But really, I would prefer to focus on the end product and using the technology as the engine to drive the success. Is this address your question?
No, there's multiple directions that could certainly go, and that was very helpful. So we'll stay tuned there. Thanks for taking my questions. That does it for me, and I'll get back in queue.
Thank you very much.
The next question is from Nathan Weinstein of Aegis Capital. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Ofer and Dorit. Thanks for taking my questions. If we could start with Canonic and specifically the market that you'll be launching into. Maybe you could speak broadly about the medical cannabis market in Israel, how it's trending, and then have there been any impacts on the pandemic in terms of the use patterns and behaviors with medical cannabis?
So the medical cannabis market in Israel is growing fast. We are talking on, I think, 180,000 patients, if I'm not wrong, and it's keep going. It's regulated and by the Israeli government. But maybe one of the most important things that I would like to add to the discussion is that I think last week or 2 weeks ago, the Israeli government approved for cannabis company in Israel to export their product or their variety or their seeds abroad. And this is open now the market abroad for Canonic and company in the cannabis field. So I think that the cannabis market in Israel is in third in size in the world. The first one is USA, then Canada, and I think then Israel. So it's quite a significant market. And I think that in the last press release of Canonic, there is some details inside that cover this type of question.
Great, thank you. And just one follow-up for me and switching gears to Biomica, with the preclinical trial for IBD program results expected in the back half of the year. Maybe you could help us think about what to expect from that and kind of what you'll plan to share at that time.
Okay, in this program, we select few sets of microbes. Each one of them contain around up to 4 microbes, which are including the type of function that our scientists believe can address the IBD disease. And we are giving those set of microbes to mice. We are doing it in a very well-known lab in the US, and we are waiting to receive the results. And based on this result, assuming they will be positive as we all expected, we are planning to initiate clinical trial next year in this program. And probably in this time we are planning to do it in the States. Still not 100% sure that we will do it in the States, but this will be the basic for a clinical trial. So and then it could be a very interesting situation for Biomica that at the end of next year this company will have 2 programs in clinical trial, validate microbes for a very, very important disease.
Thank you, Ofer. I appreciate you taking my questions. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
The next question is from Jeff Gilbert of Inukshuk. Please go ahead.
Hello, Ofer. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to echo your thanks to Martin and wish him the best in retirement. As well, I would like to thank Sarit for taking the helm and look forward to her leadership. Additionally, Ofer, I thank you for, and we welcome your strategic announcement this morning. I know we've talked about that in the past few years and look forward to seeing what comes from your investigation on the values in which subsidiaries you choose. I just had a couple bookkeeping questions on cash burn if you expect next year. I know it's a ways off and also dependent on whether or not the IPO happens or not, but if with any of the ramping of commercialization, you expect a cash burn to significantly increase in 2022. And additionally, you mentioned upcoming milestones in a couple of subsidiaries, and whether or not those are affiliated with any cash payments from partners, or they're just advancements in the pipelines. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. First, thank you for your wording with respect to Martin, Sarit, and of course myself. Highly appreciate this. I definitely think that Martin's contribution to Evogene is tremendous. I think that Martin's contribution to the biotech industry in Israel it was quite significant, and I'm really excited to work with Sarit, that she represent and bring a new energy to the company, and I'm sure that together we are going to take Evogene to the next phase of development. With respect to your question, so I think that people that are following Evogene knows that we are very cautious with our burn rate, and usually we are trying to make sure that it will address our targets and needs. I think that one of the reasons that we want to take also our subsidiary to the public market, or to raise for the money in a private placement. So in addition to have a separate valuation process, it also will allow those companies to prosper faster if compared to them basing only on Evogene funding it on its own. Especially companies such as Biomica, that when you are entering into the clinical trial, the amount of money you need is quite significant. And yes, the valuation, of course, jumps significantly, but also the amount of money you need to invest. So I think that we are also taking into this consideration, this item into our consideration, how to prioritize and who is the company that we are going to take to the market first. I think that next year, yes, there are some milestones are expected to be achieved. Some of them start from collaborations agreement, but not all of them. And I think that where our programs are, especially in Biomica and AgPlenus, this is two companies that their program are in the stage that next year they will allow us to enter into a significant collaboration agreement that hopefully we can also lead to payment to Evogene, and that can help us in funding the rest of our activity. In addition, yes, Lavie Bio, maybe the numbers won't be significant, and we are expecting to see higher numbers coming during 2023. But I think that Canonic, the numbers could be a little bit more material, and it also will inject cash to the company to cover its expenses. Dorit, would you like to add something about it?
No, I think you summarized it correctly, and we will give the full estimation with respect to the burn rate in our financials for the end of the year.
Thank you very much for taking my question.
Thank you.
If there are any additional questions, please press star 1. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star 2. Please stand by while we poll for more questions. There are no further questions at this time. I'd like to hand over the call to Kenny Green of Edison Group to address write-in questions. Please go ahead.
I thank you, operator. We've had a lot of writing questions, but most of them have been answered over the course of the call. One question we haven't addressed is about CRISPR. What is Evogene's direction with CRISPR through the consortium or independently, and will we introduce it for testing in humans?
So what we are doing in CRISPR, in part from the consortium, is really to improve what is called the guided RNA. This is the DNA fragment that's actually responsible on where you do the modification at the DNA itself, and you want to do the modification in the specific place that you were targeting, and only there. And this is one of the problems that people that are using this technology are facing today, that the edit is not necessarily in the place they were targeting it. And this could be a very significant problem, especially when you are using this technology for human. There is a few directions where you can use this technology for human. I think that I hope that our audience are familiar with what is called the T-cart, where you are for people that suffer from cancer, you are taking out certain cells. You do some modification on those cells, and then you return them back to the patient, and now this T cell can fight better against the cancer. This is an example where you can use genome editing in order to achieve this target. And if the system you have is much more accurate and much more with a higher efficacy, this could be a quite significant improvement that companies operating in this field will be more than happy to put their hands on. And this is just one example where you can use genome editing for human. And I think that what we are trying to solve using AI technology could be very beneficial for this type of companies.
Okay. Also, thank you very much. The rest of the questions have already been addressed throughout the call, so I will hand back to the operator.
Thank you. Before I ask Mr. Ofer Haviv to go ahead with his closing statement, I would like to remind participants that a replay of this call is scheduled to begin 2 hours after the conference. In the U.S., please call 1-888-326-9310. In Israel, please call 03-9255-901. Internationally, please call 972-3-9255-901. Mr. Haviv, would you like to make your concluding statement?
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for joining the call today. We all look forward to updating you with our progress over the next few months. Thank you and good day.
Thank you. This concludes Evogen's second quarter 2021 results conference call. Thank you for your participation. You may go ahead and disconnect.